The shadow has this sinister quality to it that makes it feel like it's about the stuff that we shouldn't talk about. It's reputed to be the underbelly of human nature. It's what has the ability to move us, and it can consume us if we let it. And that's exactly why it's so fascinating. Now, what if the shadow is actually a part of all of us, and that integrating the shadow into your life is one of the most powerful ways to unlock your full potential? That's what this is about. And if this is your first encounter with the shadow, then it will be one of the most profound experiences that you have come across in a good long time. Jung is one of the first psychologists that I really studied into great detail, and the reason for this is that his ideas, they still resonate even after what must have been like a century ago. At that time, psychology was much more influenced by philosophy, like there were like great ideas that psychologists greatly believed in, and there was like some space for the enchantment, some space for the magical, some space for things that are not exactly measurable, but they just resonate with something. So his big idea was that to human nature there are 4 parts, and those 4 parts we try to integrate them throughout our life, and when we do that we can unlock our full potential. So according to Jung, the 4 components of what makes us us are these. So it's the persona, so that's like the public facing part of ourselves. It's the anima, animus, that's our idea of what it means to be a man or a woman. There is the self, which is like the inward facing part of ourself. And there is the shadow. And of those 4, I think the shadow is the most interesting part, and it has this reputation that it's about the bad stuff and so forth, but I think that's a misconception. It's about the stuff that may not seem palatable based on how we grew up, based on what society teaches us about what's right and what's wrong, but they are powerful principles and powerful things that can really move us and really motivate us. And so the big idea here is that if you manage to incorporate those 4 parts of yourself, that's when you can really unlock your next level. And this will take you years to really get a feel for this. So if this is your first time to come across this, expect that this will not be something that you can unlock just like that. You need to live towards this. Now, what I'm doing here is also to build it up a little bit, and what I want to do most of all is to share what's called a shadow document, and this is like an exercise that you can do to really map how you feel about certain things. And let me pull it up on the screen right away, and then you have a better idea of what I'm talking about. So a shadow document, it's about 3 parts. It has characteristics, attitudes, and behaviors. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna discuss all 3 parts, how it relates to me, and why this is what makes a big difference on a very fundamental level for me. So my characteristics. So one of my big motivating principles is that I just do what feels good. And this may sound selfish, but I truly believe that this is what motivates anyone, basically, because you can take like the nicest, the most altruistic person out there, and they may be the person who always helps other people, but I deeply believe that they keep on doing the thing because it gives them a good feeling. And so this is something I just want to own up to, that I want to do in my life what feels good, what I get a good feeling about, and also not just in the moment, but what I mean by that is also that I want to do what feels good, but also something that is meaningful in the greater scheme of things. Now, also, I like to play long games. And once I realized that, it changed my whole perspective, because then it means that every small thing that you do every single day is gonna contribute towards that bigger game. And once I started to think in terms of long games, weeks became shorter. I had the ability to sit down and to just plan out my entire week. And after that, I had the ability just to sit down and to plan out a month or even further down. So there is this expression that competition, it's for the masses. The idea behind here is that one of the biggest things that some of us will get to do in our lives, that is to build a family. It doesn't have to do with competition. I mean, that would be totally silly. What that comes down to is about building a stronghold. It's about building a castle with a really big moat around it and to protect what's me and mine. And so that's like the extreme opposite of competition. You don't want competition there. You want to build something at which you can become the only person who is really good at it. So what you want to do there is to build a stronghold. And with this stronghold, I mean that once you do that, competition just becomes irrelevant. And it's really something that I strongly believe in, that you should always try to run your own race. Like that's what makes life way more interesting, if you just figure out your own path and you go down that path. And if you don't see the path, you forge it. You find a way to forge that path. Now, my attitudes. So when I'm into something, I'm locked in. And I'm locked in for a longer time. So when I'm into something, I'll be into it for years, basically. And this is intensity. I really believe that if you have like high intensity, you're gonna get the results that you want. And you just have to have like a massive sort of belief. And once you can get into the attitude of having like a massive belief, then the things that you're after, it becomes just like a matter of time before you will realize those things. So Death of the Gladiolus, it's just a silly expression. And what it comes down to is that either I will fail miserably or I will walk among the best. And there is no room for a middle ground. And I think this is a really powerful attitude to have, because if you look out into the world, there is more than enough mediocrity. I mean, that's like the space where you have nothing to add. But if you make it so that you walk among the best, that becomes your ambition, then you can contribute and you can do something meaningful that's ultimately gonna advance the human cause. Sticks to mission 24/7, and my mission is online business. What I'm working towards is to disconnect location, money, and time. And I think that the opportunity that we all have right now is to get income from an online source. So that's what I'm really working towards. And that's what every free moment that I'm not spending with my family, that I'm not working towards my day job, that I'm not spending to relax or to recover, is spent on the online business. And this is really I think the opportunity of our day and age, that it's actually possible to not just build an online business, but to build one that will result in an upgrade of your current lifestyle. So that's what I'm after, and I'm unapologetic about it. Now, and also, I do one small thing towards the future, and I do it every day. And it's even so extreme that if I don't get to do this, I will feel like, well, I wouldn't say like a bad day. I mean, sometimes you need a day to relax, but to make like a weekday into a good day, I want to spend at least a small amount of time working towards this goal. I want to maintain that intensity. I want to, if I wake up at 3 o'clock at night and someone asks me like, what is your mission? I will want to say it's the online business. And the moments before sleep, when I relax towards the night, I will want to think about a small thing that relates to this. Now, and looking at the shadow document, so characteristics, attitudes, and behaviors, actually it all hooks into each other. And I think that these are actually things that can get you to excel, to achieve greater things in your life. And if you look at all of those things that I wrote down, these aren't necessarily things that are taught in schools. These are not things that are like the mainstream in society. But I do think that this can give you the edge to make things happen. And ultimately, I also think that if you manage to do that and you manage to really incorporate this and you turn this into like an extreme sort of intensity that will get you to do something great, then ultimately you will be respected for that as well. Now, and I hope that by this you see that the shadow, it's way less extreme than what you may think and what it is reputed to be. But if you do this in the right way, then it will give you the tools and it will give you the attitude and the behaviors to make more of yourself than you are today. And it certainly has given me a lot of things. And of course, there are many things that I need to work on. For example, what I'm working on towards on this channel is my camera presence. I find that when things are like pretty tough to talk about, like complex ideas, I'm struggling to find the words. And of course I can just read it from a page, but then it just lacks something. I enjoy watching videos where people literally talk about things. And so that's what I want to work towards. So it doesn't mean in any way that that you arrived basically, that you are exactly where you want to be, but look at it more like a roadmap. If you just incorporate this, and whatever your shadow document may be, then that's going to be beneficial in unlocking yourself. And so to go back to Jung, you tie this in to all the rest, and it's not literally tying in, but it's more like accepting, like, okay, these are my core principles, this is how I operate, and if you just stick to that, and of course you may change it along the way as well, it's gonna open certain doors for you. I'm really convinced of that. So, and the second big idea that I want to leave you with is that your shadow is okay because you are okay. And if you can just find that confidence, that unmitigated belief in yourself, that you are okay and that you will be okay and that things will work out, if you can harbor such a massive belief that things are just a matter of time before they will materialize, I truly believe that great things are about to happen, regardless of what you're after, regardless of your background, regardless of your current situation. If you can harbor a massive belief, then good things and great things will be in the future. And it's just a matter of time before you can unlock them. Now, and I really hope that what I showed here, it will feel to you like, man, I have been feeling like this for my entire life or for years on end, and you put it into words. And that's what the shadow was for me. That's what writing down a shadow document was for me. And also the massive belief that I'm basically okay.